Your bank statement is not a record of what you bought. It is a record of what you could not sit with. The purchase is the quieter confession. It says, something in me hurt, and I tried to numb it with a price tag. You tell yourself you spend because you like quality, because you earned it, because life is short. But the moment you click buy is rarely about the object. It is about the half second after your finger moves, when your chest finally loosens, when the inner noise goes silent, when you feel, for a brief moment, like the person you are pretending to be. Picture a small scene you know too well. You step out of a meeting and smile the right way. You say the right words. You hold your posture. Then you walk down a hallway and the mask starts to slip. Your face goes blank. Your body feels heavy. You are not thinking about shopping. You are thinking about relief. 10 minutes later, you are at a counter and the receipt prints like a tiny verdict. That receipt is never just paper. It is a time stamp. It tells you exactly when your shadow woke up, because there are two versions of you inside every transaction, the one who speaks in reasons and the one who moves in impulses. The first one says, this is practical, this is smart, this is a reward. The second one says nothing. It just reaches. The strange part is that the second one often feels older than you. It is the part that learned early that comfort is bought, not given. The part that learned that attention has a price. The part that learned that being good does not always protect you. So you build a persona, responsible, controlled, nice. You keep receipts neatly when you are calm. You tear them up when you are not. And if you pay attention, you will see a pattern that has nothing to do with money. Why does the urge hit after a certain kind of conversation? Why after you feel judged? Why after you feel invisible? Why after you do everything right and still feel empty? Why do you buy more when you feel lonely, but also when you feel powerful? Why does one comment make you spend like you are trying to erase it? Here is the first uncomfortable truth. Spending is often not desire. It is defense. Sometimes you defend yourself from feeling small, so you buy something that makes you look untouchable. Sometimes you defend yourself from feeling unwanted, so you buy something that feels like warmth. Sometimes you defend yourself from your own anger, so you buy to stay polite. You cannot say what you want to say, so you purchase the feeling you wish you had. And the shadow loves this, not because it wants to ruin you, but because it wants to survive. The shadow is the part of you that you trained yourself not to be. The selfish part, the jealous part, the part that wants to be admired without earning it, the part that wants revenge but calls it self-care, the part that is tired of being the nice one. So it finds a loophole. If you will not admit it, it will express itself through spending. That is why certain purchases feel slightly secret, even when no one is watching. That is why some receipts go to the bottom of the bag. That is why you can be disciplined all month. Then one night something flips and you spend with a cold calm, like you are proving a point. What point? This is the open door most people avoid. The door behind your spending is not greed. It is a story. It might be the story that you must earn rest. It might be the story that you must look successful to be safe. It might be the story that if you do not take something now, you will not get it later. Or the darker one. The story that you are not allowed to have what you truly want, so you settle for substitutes. You can feel it in your body if you watch closely. The urge rises. Your mind starts negotiating. You tell yourself, You are researching. You are comparing. You are being rational. But the truth is simpler. You are trying to change your state. And it works. For a moment. Then the receipt arrives. Look at it. Not to shame yourself. Not to punish yourself. Just to notice the timing. Notice the hour. Notice the day. Notice what happened right before. Notice the emotion you refuse to name. If you want to see your shadow without drama, do this once. After your next unnecessary purchase, do not rush past it. Hold the receipt. Feel the moment after the purchase. Ask yourself one question and do not answer quickly. What emotion did I just pay to stop feeling? You will want to say, nothing. But your body will answer first. And when it answers, you will realize why some people can budget perfectly for months and then suddenly burn through everything in a single night. It is not a math problem. It is an encounter. Soon, you will notice something else printed on it. A pattern. The same hour, the same mood. The same invisible trigger. That is where the real story begins. The receipt is the invitation. Whether you read it is the choice. You read it, and the first thing you notice is not the amount. It is the place you were when you bought relief. The mind loves clean explanations. It says, I have a weak moment. I have bad habits. I should be stricter. But the pattern on the receipt is not weakness. It is strategy. A part of you uses spending the way another person uses distraction, or wine, or rage. It is an exit. That is why the impulse feels urgent. It is not asking for an object. It is asking for escape. Escape from what? That is the question you keep avoiding, and it hides in the same spots every time. Sometimes it is loneliness that you refuse to admit because you are surrounded by people. Sometimes it is the quiet resentment of being the responsible one, the one who pays, the one who stays polite, the one who is always fine. You swallow it. You call it maturity. Then the shadow collects interest. Jung gave a name to this rejected part. The shadow is not evil. It is simply what you refuse to see as yours. The traits you disown do not disappear. They show up indirectly. They spend through you. They choose through you. They turn a checkout page into a confession booth. Notice how often spending is tied to persona. You buy the version of yourself you want others to recognize. You buy proof that you matter. You buy a signal that you are ahead, even if your body feels behind. And if someone makes you feel small, the shadow does not argue. It compensates. Take one receipt from a night you half forgot. Do not judge it. Read the hour. Maybe it is 2:13 a.m. Ask what happened at 1:50. Not on the screen. In you. A message you did not answer. A comment that landed like disrespect. A silence after you tried to be understood. Your face stays calm, your tone stays polite, and the shadow goes shopping for the feeling you refuse to claim. This is why the same categories repeat. After uncertainty, you reach for something that feels like certainty. After humiliation, you reach for something that looks like status. After deprivation, you reach for comfort that arrives in a box. The object changes, but the function stays the same. The receipt keeps showing you the function. Sometimes you hide the receipt, not from someone else, from yourself, because if you keep it, you must admit the purchase was emotional. You must admit you were buying a feeling. The shadow loves to make the act look rational. It will talk in budgets while it bleeds. When you finally look at the ink, you see how predictable the impulse is. And predictability is not a sentence. It is a leverage point. Here is the twist. most people miss. Sometimes you overspend not to feel bigger, but to punish yourself for wanting more. You spend and then you hate yourself, as if shame is a payment plan. That cycle keeps you obedient. It keeps you nice. Nietzsche would recognize the smell of it. The soft violence of resentment turned inward. You are not failing discipline. You are feeding a hidden bargain. The bargain sounds like this. If I buy it, I do not have to feel what I really want to say. If I buy it, I do not have to admit I am tired of carrying everyone. If I buy it, I do not have to face the emptiness I keep outrunning. The receipt is small, but the bargain is large. Once you see that, another mystery clears. The relief is not pleasure. It is the shadow paying you for obedience. It teaches you to confuse buying with control and control with safety. You can stop signing that contract quietly. So what breaks it is not motivation. It is contact. Real contact with the feeling before it becomes a transaction. You practice it with ancient precision, not with drama, with a clean pause. The next time the urge rises, you do one simple thing. You do not move for 10 seconds. You breathe once. You let the impulse exist without obeying it. In that gap, you gain what the ancients called sovereignty over impressions. The feeling is there, but it is not the commander. If you already bought, you still use the receipt. You take it and write one honest word on it. Not a story. One word: lonely, angry, empty, restless, unseen. Then you put it away. Later, when your mind is calm, you read that word as evidence, not of failure, of a need you kept disguised. Now the shadow has less power because it has less secrecy. It cannot drag you in the dark if you name what it wants. And when you do spend, you do it consciously. You decide the amount before the emotion decides for you. You buy what serves your life, not what sedates your pain. You stop using guilt as a leash. You stop using consumption as an apology. One day, it happens in an ordinary moment. You feel the familiar pull. You can almost taste the relief. Then you stay still. You let the feeling pass through you like weather. You keep your money. But more than that, you keep your attention. The receipt stays small and forgettable. You do not